this is Mark with Anatomy of Tone. I talk to a lot of my students about the importance of practicing composing solos and playing over changes. It's hard to do when you just sit down by yourself and you just have to think, what am I going to play over? You're thinking of the songs that you're playing recently, you're thinking of maybe songs that you haven't played in a long time, and sometimes you just are stumped because the more you try to think about what you know, the more it disappears. Right? It's like when somebody asks you, what are 10 of your favorite songs? You can't think of them in that moment. There is a way to get around this, though, and I use a form of divination to be able to come up with or source interesting chord progressions to test myself on. The process is I go into my hallway, which is also our library, and I pick a book. Often I pick a real book, but it doesn't have to be a real book. It could be any book with songs in it. I'm going to just turn to one random page in the book and copy some chord progressions down. I'm not going to pass by a page, so the first page you pick is the page that you're going to copy that chord progression. I would say like 8, 12, 16 bars. I wouldn't go past 16 bars with it. We're only really trying to copy like one section of the song, not the whole song. This is going to take a while to work our way through it, so we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. Okay, here I'm just going to pick a page, right? And what I land on here. I land on a track called Estate. Okay. And what do we have? Where's the phrase where it starts turning around? So we actually have a 12-bar phrase in this before we see some double lines. So I would write out the 12-bar phrase on here, and then I would disregard this melody line and then start writing in my own melody line and improvisations over these chord changes. I copy it onto a fresh piece of paper. I'm using paper and pen or pencil rather than doing it digitally. I think it's important to build up our audiation skills and imagine what it's going to sound like without playing it before we put it into software, before we play it a lot on our instrument. Okay, so after I've copied it on the paper, just bars and where the chords change. I'm going to copy what beats the chords change on too, because I want to capture the rate of harmonic change as well. So once I have that on paper, I now have some staves that are empty, and I'm going to fill them up below where the chord progression is. I may take some time to just get my cheat sheet that I've made to see all the modes and scales that could be applicable to chords in the various situations. And I might consider a couple of options that I could use over these chords. Now, again, this is a practice technique, so it's fine to be taking some time to think about and try different modes and scales and stuff. We're not in a performing situation, so we're in an exploration mode here. So I'm going to maybe try a few modes that I don't normally use and try to think about ways to integrate them into a solo. I might write the name of the modes down underneath the chords that I want to use them in. It's a good idea to be familiar with chord scales so you know or have an idea or a way to reference what modes match certain chords. After I've picked the modes, the scales, I'm now going to work out some skeleton melody lines on top of it. I start with a skeleton. I'm not just going to start writing in a bunch of fast runs at first. I just want to know where my foundation of my melody line is going to be. So start with something simple, a very simple melody line, highlighting the chords and also some of these interesting tensions that we may get from the use of different modes. After I've written in the framework, then I'm going to go back and figure out ways that I can add some ornamentation to it, meaning connecting notes, runs, such that will just kind of bring out a little bit more excitement in the solo. So this is a multi-phase process here. This brings me back to the point of making sure that you don't pick too many bars. It's more about doing it on a regular basis than it is cramming it a lot in at one time with longer intervals between it. The last phase in this process is to play it on your instrument. Sit down with your guitar or piano and read through it. Doesn't mean that you have to be a perfect sight reader. The idea is to get to a point that you can read it, even if it takes you a few times to read it through, but to be able to play what you've written, and that way you can translate your ideas. This is really important because this will help you prevent being stuck in the future, because you always have a way to create and bring in new ideas into your routine or your vocabulary that you may have become stale with. If you're digging this video, please hit the share, the like button, subscribe. I'll be releasing more videos covering all different aspects of music. Also, check out my website, anatomyoftone.com.